Hashtag Lana Del Rey, queen of the female gaze. Hello, ladies and gentlemen. My name is Jerry Bees. Another step forward in the Lana Del Rey journey will be had today. We are coming off the heels of Ultraviolence, which I really liked. I really liked the blues rock approach that they took and made that sound a little bit more atmospheric for Lana Del Rey, because that seems to really be her wheelhouse, right? These more methodical, slower types of songs that you can just swim in like a nice lukewarm pool, right? That's how I see Lana Del Rey. Get your floaties on, get you a cocktail, and just float around, right? But I don't know where we go from here, ladies and gentlemen. I don't know where we go from here, but we will find out with tonight's album, Honeymoon. So basically everything that I just said about Ultraviolence as far as where we're coming from, I'm very excited to see if we switch up the sound even a little bit more. Is it still going to be blues rocky? Because I felt that worked really well for Lana Del Rey. I would say it's between Ultraviolence and Paradise where I felt the most love of Lana Del Rey coming out of me. Given by the looks of things, I know you shouldn't judge an album or anything by its cover. But I think you can most of the time. We're really leaning into, the Americana, the nostalgia, right? Starline Tours and that like very bold kind of lettering. They're contrasting with the white background. I mean, it gives America to me. Although it looks like it's like a car with the roof like sawzalled off of it, which is kind of cool. With like some Art Deco-y text. I don't know. Just, it's Lana's aesthetic. I'm just obsessed with her aesthetic. Before we get on with it, please let me know your thoughts on my thoughts as we go on through the album. And if you happen to like my thoughts, consider dropping a little like. Hit the little like button. Subscribe for more of my thoughts. Because that's why you guys come here. It's not seeing people react to your favorite artist through new eyes. It is just to hear my little goofy ass thoughts, right? Of course, if you do subscribe, you will see when I'm going live and what I'm going to be reacting to. I post that up on my post tab as well for free on my Patreon. But if you wanted to see any of these streams uncut and before they come out on YouTube, go ahead and check out my Patreon. We can get exactly that for $1. And if you want your name in the credits, there's some other tiers for that. A little bit longer of an album today, so we're just coming off the heels of listening to Lord's newest album as well. That was only 34 minutes, but today we got Honeymoon, 14 songs, an hour and 5 minutes. So we got some longer tracks here. None of them absolutely terribly long, but they're just longer in general. Which I'm quite excited for. All right, so they want me to call the number on the front of the album. 1-800-268. Sounds like shit. Well, people are saying that might be from an album that we are yet to get into. But I don't know if it spoiled anything because it sounded like I could not discern anything from that. So do not worry, everybody who's spamming spoilers. I could not get anything worthwhile out of that other than it just being kind of cute to listen to. We have Lana Del Rey with Honeymoon, 2015, 14 songs, hour 5 minutes. First song, the titular track, Honeymoon. Let's roll.
We could cruise to the blues, Wilshire Boulevard, if we choose, or whatever. Our honeymoon, our honeymoon, and we
All right, so that was the first song, titular song, title track, ladies and gentlemen, Honeymoon. And I do appreciate that we've kind of gone back to the heavy orchestral stuff. Now I know this is going to be a long album. This is only the first song, but it was very apparent off of Ultraviolence with Dan Auerbach, right, who largely produced that album, of the Black Keys. Live, eats, and breathes blues rock, and I thought that sound really worked with Lana quite well. I like how we're kind of going back to there, this you could even argue it's still very cinematic, James Bondy kind of sleuthy kind of sound, but specifically with the strings, so more so the violins that came in. I don't know where it is exactly in the song for me to find it and show you guys right now. I'll probably throw this up in the YouTube video, but it sounds a lot like, I believe it's the Catwoman theme from the Matt Reeves Batman that came out a few years ago with Robert Pattinson. That was Zoe Kravitz's character. Whenever she was on screen, they played this very distinct violin movement. So here in this song, it reminded me a lot of that, which I don't know if that was an intentional thing there. But again, it kind of goes along the lines of it's a little sleuthy. It's slower. It's a little bit more methodical. That there's something to gain. It's even a little bit mysterious, almost, which I think works because they're not giving us a ton here in the lyrics. A lot of metaphor, especially. Well, I don't know if it's metaphor. I think you can look exactly at it. There are roses between my thighs and fire that surrounds you, and this reference to a history of violence. And I think that's kind of like this is just quintessential Lana, right? You want love, you want the person, you want all of the glitz and glamour that come with it, but there is an ugly side to that. So maybe more so of an establishment of themes to come is kind of what I'm looking at here, as well as maybe setting the pace for the album. Like I said, I know that there's a lot of longer tracks here, and so I think maybe as the not necessarily the palate cleanser of sorts, but an appetizer of the 4-course meal that we are about to have. Moving on. Music to watch boys to.
Music while I'm watching the boys. So I do what you want. Singing soft guns just to soak up the noise. I know what only the girls know. Pose with lies akin to me.
Hashtag Lana Del Rey, queen of the female gaze, right? How come we don't talk about enough that, huh? We don't talk enough about that. This isn't really any surprise, maybe. Just, I mean, if you're like me, a real true Lana fan, right? And you've listened to everything up to this point, we have talked about how Lana takes the power back in any which way. So, she does enjoy maybe sometimes being the object of, maybe men's desires, but she definitely likes playing the other side of that card too. Maybe being a little bit more in charge, knowing that, men specifically will be flocking to her. And so I think this is a little bit more on that side of things where, she gets a lot out of watching the boys, right? Singing soft grunge just to soak up the noise. And hey, I'm not typically watching The Boys maybe in the same way that Lana does. I've never seen the show called The Boys. I'll watch some baseball, some basketball. I'll watch The Boys all goddamn day. So far, I'm right in that these are going to be at least the last two songs have been very slow, more atmospheric. Again, not like that's another thing that's new for Lana, but I do feel as though they're a little bit longer. Not that is anything to the album's detriment thus far. I think that's just maybe what we're in store for here. All right, moving on. Terrence Loves You.
What you are, I don't mind when I lost you, but I still got chance for when you are crazy. I'll let you be bad. I'll never dare change me to what you want, but I still got chance when I've got those blues. I lost myself and you hear me. No control to make it talk. Can you hear me when I thought? When I hear your tunes.
Nice little tasty resolve there to end it. So that was Terrence Loves You. And forgive me, folks, right? There's a lot of backstory to keep track of, a lot of lore and, past details about folks that we react to here on the channel. As far as like what this one's about, I think in Ultraviolence, talk of like a musician that she had dated and she wasn't with them anymore. And maybe that has something to do with it here. Although, knowing that this came out in 2015, that's when David Bowie passed away. And so we have Ground Control to Major Tom, obviously, a line from one of David Bowie's most famous songs, Space Oddity, right? So is this maybe drawing comparisons between, the two, like, okay, I don't have either of you in my life anymore. Okay, Bowie died... Devotion to accuracy. Bowie died February 2016. Is his brother Terrence Bowie? From the Lana Del Rey Reddit, a comment says that Terrence is likely David Bowie's half-brother who had some mental illnesses and took his own life, given the Space Oddity reference and the lines about jazz. In particular about that line about jazz, I really liked not only the first reference of that as the saxophone, or I don't know if it was a clarinet, but it sounded like a sax, right? Maybe like an alto sax, coming in at the end of that line, which I thought was just so perfect. The timing of it and the mixing of it was so good. But I like that line as it stands. I still got jazz when I got the blues. So the way I'm seeing that is, jazz is maybe seen not necessarily as very lively, but definitely something that's like cool. So I still keep my cool when I've got the blues, when I'm kind of downtrodden. I still have this level of, what am I trying to say here? I still have this level of composure, if you will. So far on the album, I really like the songwriting in this one, and the composition being pretty subtle. It works. It works just fine for me. Moving on, we got God Knows I Tried.
So crazy, I could drink it like tequila sunrise. Put on that hotel, California, dance around like I'm insane. God gave me life, and God knows I tried. God knows I tried. Put on that hotel, California.
Yeah.
It's good shit, pal.
For a few different reasons. So there's something that I've been noticing with this album in particular is that her vocals seem to be peaking a lot, like how they're mixed. They're getting broken up in the headphones. And I don't know if I've noticed that previously. I felt like, I don't know how much of it was her voice or how much of it was the production, but her voice is like just generally very buttery smooth, right? But as she's hitting those higher notes and like increasing the loudness, right? Like I'm getting like crackles on the higher ends there, but it's fitting into the vibe of everything really well. And towards the end of this song, we're getting that plus the echo effect out of her voice. And oh my God. Oh, it's so goddamn good. And I said this before, it may have been in Paradise where it's like, I'd love to see a Lana Del Rey set in like a cathedral, just where the acoustics are just like all the sounds are bouncing off the walls at the same time. And I just want to live in it. Like, I feel like if this song was played in a cathedral, this would be like the closest music could get to just being like a straight sativa, right? Just a straight head high. So the vocal mixing on this was really, really good. I was going to say that, maybe we went back a little bit more towards the blues rock, but I think that, slower guitar pluck sound has come through Lana's music even before Ultraviolence. So I kind of clocked at the beginning to say that, we are kind of going back and revisiting some of those sounds from pretty much everything before Ultraviolence. But I like a lot of the songwriting before, we get into the God Knows I've Tried, which you could argue that it's repetitive, and I may even give you some credit for that as a, just criticism of it. Like, well, it's too repetitive, but it's something that people can relate to. This is very Tumblr girl, maybe sad Tumblr girl stuff. Like, oh yeah, I got to do chores. And this is after you're pissed off that you had to do chores or something like that. I kid, but not really. This is, these two lines, it's so crazy. I could drink it like tequila sunrise, put on that Hotel California, obviously references to the Eagles with their songs Tequila Sunrise and Hotel California. Right. And obviously red and yellow skies, those look like tequila sunrises, right? If you've ever had a tequila sunrise, that's what it looks like. But then further on in the song, we get sometimes I wake up in the morning to red, blue, and yellow lights. On Monday, they destroyed me, but on Friday, I'm revived. I'm seeing that as like, well, what are blue, red, and yellow lights? Are those ambulance lights, police lights, fire truck lights, where, they have like the yellow accent lights, by the sirens and that. So maybe calling upon something of like tragedy. So here, this is very comfortable. Blue, red, and yellow skies. It's very comfortable. You're very cozy, juxtaposed to something that is definitely the opposite end of that, and right here, they destroyed me. I think you can just take the meaning for what that is right there and then trying to reclaim maybe that comfort by putting on Hotel California to bring you back to a time that was a little bit simpler. So as repetitive as this song is, there's still a lot for me to think about. Very good job. Very good job.
Shit, pal.
Lana yaps a lot with her songwriting. She's allowed to have some repetitive songs every now and then. Even though the song, like it's repetitive, the production wasn't repetitive. The lyrics were repetitive. The production was not. I found myself listening to new things as the song crept on during those repetitive moments, quote unquote. There's a video where she sang this a cappella in a church when visiting Italy, and it gives me chills. I need to fucking watch that. It's like she's singing from some old 80s TV. I wonder if she's using like a very old microphone or they're doing like something else in the booth to like achieve that sound, where they're like intentionally nerfing the equipment, but in like a way that is so intentional to reach the like aesthetic of the sound that they're going for. I can't imagine that it's not intentional. Sad as the song is, The Blackest Day is a gut wrencher for the album for me. Well, if there's sadder songs, we will try to find those as we continue. But this one was really good. Yup. High by the beach. dare I hazard to say that this is one of the most fun Lana Del Rey songs out there. I meant to just hit the applause. We can get the air horns here. Yeah, no, I really like the rhythm of this one, the rhythm in her voice, the vocal delivery. Yeah, just get high by the beach, which, you know, there is this underlying message here. You could even say it's the main message, but to me, it's that hook. All I want to do is get high by the beach, right? It's very infectious. This is definitely something you put on a beach playlist, right? You know, but at the same time, you know, we do have this underlying thing of usurped by a man to some regard, and just this right here, right? The truth is never butt into your bullshit. So maybe seeing all of this strife that this dude is causing you, and then your reprieve is just to get high by the beach, right? It's like, screw all this. Just take me to the beach, and don't follow me to the beach, you loser, right? And by the end of it, peace by vengeance brings the end. So take it, kicking ass, taking names, and rolling up a doobie in the sand seems to be where we're going with this, which this might be the most Lana Del Rey song I've ever heard outside of the jumpy nature of the production and composition here. But still, even though it is like fun and jumpy, it's still very Lana Del Rey, where it's a little bit more even keeled in that regard. But I really, more than anything, really like the vocal delivery on this one and the rhythm behind it. Anyway, we keep this train rolling. Freak.
Palms reflecting in your eyes. Take this moment, make it last forever. Your halo's full of fire. Baby, if you wanna leave, come to California, be a freak like me too. Leather black and eyes of blue. Baby, if you want like me too. Ooh, you're cold as ice, baby. But when it's like I told you, if you stay, I'll stay. Baby, if you wanna leave, come to California, be a freak like me too, like me too.
Okay, so in pure candor, they had us in the first half. I was like, okay, right. I'll just be honest with you. I was like, oh, okay, yeah, this is Lana Del Rey. But by the time we get to, like, I don't know if this was like the fucking bridge or what. All right, I just can't find it. But, you know, halfway through the song, we just completely switch up the chord progression in a really interesting way. It like you could hear the music from the first part of the song, but before the switch up, kind of transition and fade out into this new progression and this pretty much like this new sound. And then we bring back, you know, the hook, but with just a shit ton of shit layered on top of it. And then that saxophone comes through out of fucking nowhere to end the song. So it's really the tale of two songs here, I think. Even though, I mean, we're definitely recalling the same lyrics from at the top. This was a switch up in a way that I don't really expect from Lana, especially since and plus when we bring, you know, the main hook back, that kick drum is as bassy and as, you know, full as it was at the start of the song, but again with a lot of other production elements put on top of it, like the ride that this one took me on. Art Deco.
Art Deco out on the floor, shining like gunmetal, gold. to love. You want more. Why? You want more. Why? 'Cause you want more. Should I find the love? You're crazy all the time. You're so art deco. Want to be free.
All right, so we'll cut that one out right there. That was Art Deco. You know, I do like how they're incorporating these sounds, you know, so obviously that kick drum and, you know, those hi-hat sounds are bringing a very modern, maybe even dare I say hip hop vibe, or just maybe like harder pop vibe to, you know, more the atmospheric orchestral side of Lana, and I think that works really well given, you know, the scene of the song. You know, you're at the club, right? You're so Art Deco. You're like a piece of art down there. You know, you have these maybe defined lines and edges right there. But maybe aren't going like you are looking to score. I don't know. I'm trying to say something that isn't just the lyrics, right? That there's ulterior motives for being at the club, you know, maybe given your crazy nature or something else like that, you know. But more than that, it's coming down to the production end for me, as well as the instrumentation end. So everything I just said about the percussion and the orchestral stuff is all the same. That was what, you know, was mainly in my ears. And then we have like the rogue saxophone running from song to song in this album, like a little Easter egg or something. It's like the thread that's connecting all these songs together that I just really haven't noticed before in Lana's music, or at least something that's been apparent enough for me to kind of talk about, because it's there towards the end of this one, as well as some really weird like Daft Punk sounding synths that are panning from channel to channel towards the end of this. So it's like, you know, it's like, okay, you have the Lana Del Rey sound. We're at a club, so make it that hard pop kind of percussion there. Like we need that slow, steady beat. But then there's like, if you're listening a little bit closer, I think you can get a little bit more out of it. You just know this was trap beats. That's what I'm thinking about. God, yes, exactly. Thank you, Blair. Yes, just very, very trap beaty, I think. So next up, we got an interlude that's Burnt Norton Into Religion. I think we're just going to listen to both in one sitting. How about that, folks? How about that? So we got Burnt Norton Interlude, and we'll follow that into Religion here.
If all time is eternally present, all time is unredeemable. What might have been is an abstraction, remaining a perpetual possibility.
Religion.
Everything is fine now. Let's sleep in dog's sleigh. All our minds made up now. All our beds are made. Notice for you there's only love. 'Cause you're my religion. You're how I'm living. When everything is bright now. No more clown.
right? So there's religion there. And I feel like this is a concept that we've talked about recently here on the channel. So by the time that this video is out, my reaction to Frank Ocean's Channel Orange should be out. So go check that out if you haven't seen it. Where in Orange, you know, we heard Frank kind of talk about this concept of religion towards the end of Channel Orange. And the way I interpreted one of those songs was it's a shaky road to walk on if you're treating like a relationship as if it's like, okay, so like you worship this person, right? That like that's a slippery slope. You can't really look at it like this. Whereas Lana takes the exact opposite approach here. When I'm down on my knees, that's how I pray. I don't know. That could be literally, but with everything I've come to know about Lana Del Rey, that is a metaphor if I've ever heard of one. Let me tell you right there. She really does enjoy, at least it seems, through what she's been telling all of us and relaying to us in her music. There is this give and take of, yes, I love being the object of your desires, but you are also the object of my desires. And there's a give and take there. And I feel as though she really respects when that is respected, right? That's what it works. When there's too much of one person given more than the other is, that's, I think, where she gets kind of icked out a little bit. She needs reciprocal praying. But for me, more than anything else, what keeps me coming back and what keeps me engaged is what she's talking about and how she relays it. And there's a big emphasis on the songwriting there. In a way that I think is a little bit braver than any other artist that we've actually reacted to. Because there isn't a ton going on. There isn't a ton of switch ups. There's not like, wow, this is a completely different style for you. There is this, like, if you like me, this is what I want to do. You already like the vibe. I just have more to say now. And putting a stronger emphasis on the songwriting, which I think is actually a very brave move. So that's just me. Lana has her niece, and she does it exceptionally well, but it would be nice to hear something new stylistically, in my opinion. Well, and I think that's why I enjoyed Ultraviolence so much, where it was less emphasis on the orchestral stuff, still kept it atmospheric, but with more blues rock elements involved. And I think if she had worked with any other producer other than Dan Auerbach, it wouldn't have worked. Because Dan Auerbach, I mean, whether you love the Black Keys or not, or have criticisms of everything that they've done after El Camino is a different story. But they are it's like either fucking Jack White or the Black Keys, which are the arbiters of that modern rock, blues rock sound. So you're going to work with either one of them. Actually, you know what? No, I take it back. Give me fucking Jack White. Give me fucking Lana Del Rey and Jack White. I know that exists somewhere. That would be killer. Genre switch-ups isn't Lana's thing. This should be apparent by now, except for the country swerve. I would love to hear a Lana country album. I would absolutely adore it. Lana also hates following trends because she was doing next one is Salvatore. A lot of people have been hyping this one up in the chat. Maybe you're hyping it up in the YouTube comments right now. I don't know, but this is Salvatore.
Above my king, like aquamarine, oceans blue.
the sounds towards the end of these songs, man. Brilliant progressions through a lot of these, and I'll just do this before I forget again. Yes. I think first and foremost, her vocals on this were absolutely exquisite, and between the composition and the lyrics, we're like looking at like this like almost like Italian tragedy, you know, and I don't know what it is. I think it's about, you know, like some of the instrumentation that's included in this that like just gives like Italian tragedy to me. Obviously with the references like Ciao Amore and things like that. But given that so much of Lana's stuff kind of revolves around maybe nostalgia and maybe building upon sounds from an earlier time, this is like really like the first song so far that I don't know, just like there's something just so classic about her. And maybe that goes without saying, but like Lana's just so classic to me. She's just so classic to me. A lot of these songs are just like they're really backloaded, where it's like within the last like 40 seconds to a minute, where you really get all of the sounds of the song, kind of bringing them all together, or including some new sounds. So like, I mean, this like synth sound that takes us just, you know, it's subtle, but it just sounds so damn nice. I always thought about it as sex, soft ice cream. Oh, soft ice cream. That's an interpretation. Time to eat soft ice cream, though. Maybe just soft, like just it alone. No, isn't that what fucking gelato is? Isn't soft ice cream gelato too? If we're running with the whole Italian thing here, when the honeymoon hits your eye like a big pizza pie, that's amore, ladies and gentlemen. Gelato is not soft. Yes, gelato is generally softer than traditional ice cream. It has a denser, smoother, and creamier texture due to its lower fat content and slower churning process, which incorporates less air. Gelato is often described as having a silkier, softer consistency compared to the firmer texture of ice cream. We're going to move on to another highly anticipated track. This is The Blackest Day. I've been hearing that this one's quite sad, and I don't know why. It's called The Blackest Day. It should be cheery and jovial. So
my favorite tone of song. I don't really wanna break up, we got it going on. It's what you gathered from my talk, but you can't explain. Ever since my baby went away, it's been the blackest day. It's been the blackest day. For love in all the wrong places. Oh my God, in all the wrong places. Now that he's gone, I can't feel nothing. Ever since my baby went away, it's been the blackest day. It's been the blackest day. Playing that games with you, got you where I want you. I got you, I got you, I got you where I want you now. Ever since my baby went away, it's been the blackest day. It's been the blackest day.
So that was The Blackest Day, and I believe in terms of runtime, the longest on the album. Although, I mean, with only like a 15-second difference between this and Honeymoon, there's not too much difference there, I guess. I mean, for me, right? This is what all this is, right? It's just me here. No co-host, no cast or crew. It's just me. I think this is as atmospheric and as nice to listen to as maybe any other Lana Del Rey song for me. Not a ton of like flowery lyrics or anything. It's very matter of fact, which I think might work a little bit more in contrast with maybe songs of similar regard and similar concept as far as maybe like a lost love or anything. This is very transparent in the sense that like, we broke up and I'm on my own again, right? So I wasn't as engaged with this one hardly as much as other songs on the record. It just gives more, now at 6 minutes, I don't know if this was a single or not, but it gives more single energy as, okay, this is maybe the Lana Del Rey that you've come to expect so far, other than here's something that we're going to slide into the album that's really going to make this album what it is, or another song that's going to add to what this album is all about. I don't hate it to any degree. Maybe I hyped it up a little bit for myself. Just know, because like the Blackest Day, right? Seeing the song titled The Blackest Day, and at 6 minutes and 5 seconds, I'm experiencing some epic. And it is epic in the sense that that's kind of the sound that Lana brings with her. But as far as like any type of differentiation for me there, maybe just in the sense that it is a little bit more matter of fact, I guess. That's fair. I didn't truly love the song until I was obsessed with Lana. Yeah, well, no, if you're obsessed with Lana, this is the greatest song ever made. So is Salvatore, Art Deco, Religion, even the Interlude, right? I've come to enjoy Lana Del Rey quite a bit. So again, I don't, not necessarily, no, it's bad, because I think this is what you like about Lana Del Rey, but maybe not for me, doesn't give me any more reason to like Lana. It's like, oh yeah, yeah, yes, yep. So we move on to 24, and if I'm seeing what is in chat is correct, YouTube comments let me know if this is wrong, but I trust chat on this. Next song is 24. Apparently it was originally written for James Bond, and we've said that some of Lana's music already sounds very James Bondy. I think Lana could have been a Bond girl 100%, right? I don't know how much acting credit she has, but let's put her in a James Bond movie. Come on now. And it got stolen by Sam Smith, the bastard. See if MGM is once again tasteless for passing on using the song. Well, we'll see. This is 24.
24 hours in a day, and half of those you lay awake. There's only 24 hours, and that's not enough to lie like you
lie. This is so Bond. How did they skip on this? Yeah, so very apparently James Bond sounds, that horn section came in. I don't know what instrument that is, but it's like the ball on top of the cowbell. We got some of that. I also got a lot of great lyricism in this one, which I've been really like, not to say that there hasn't been good lyricism, but like the wordplay that was featured on Paradise was kind of just terribly, terribly, terribly good. And we got it a little bit in God Knows I Tried, a little bit of High by the Beach, right? And I'd even say a little bit of Art Deco there. That this like quintessential like Lana Del Rey, just like wordplay of like double entendre, that we actually didn't get a lot of in Ultraviolence, but it, you know, the production end of things and how the stylings of Ultraviolence kind of saved it for me. All of this was like really James Bondy. So, you know, there's only 24 hours in a day. Half of those you lie awake, and you know, there's only 24 hours of the day. That's not enough to lie like you lie, which, knowing James Bond, there's a lot of laying around, right? There's a lot of lying. It's espionage. It's spying. So the lyrics work really well for me there as well for this one. So I haven't heard the Sam Smith song, but I don't know Sam Smith and I know Lana Del Rey. So I'll give the credit to Lana. Now, was it as good as Skyfall by Adele? I don't know. But I don't think that she was in competition with Adele for this song. It was Sam Smith. So Skyfall clears, but this should have been a Bond theme. I agree. Yeah. Well, I don't know. Do you, in the YouTube comments, do you think that this song deserved to be the Bond song over Sam Smith, or was the Sam Smith one good enough? You let me know down in the comments. We got another sad song coming up here. This is Swan Song. So Swan Song usually means like the end of something. So we will get into that. It's not the end song either. So there's more to this, but we will see Swan Song.
Work so hard when you could just be free. You got your money, now you got your legacy. Let's leave the world for the ones who change everything. And I will never say again. And you won't wait another day. I will never sing again. Swan song. Dive in, dive deep, and I blew my sweet. Rushing up from the water we'd lost. And I will never sing again. Do you like where you've been and where you're going to? Say goodnight. Say goodnight. You won't work another day. And I will never sing again. You won't work another day. It will be a swan song.
You know, this one's a little bit more interesting to me. You know, because Swan Song implies that it's the ending of something, and I think that there is a couple different ways you could look at this, where it's like, okay, let's just, we could just get lost, we can just step away from everything, or maybe end it ultimately. But there's this like air of optimism there, so where it's like maybe the grass is greener on the other side. I'm left with feeling a little bit of ambiguity from it, and that's kind of why I like it. Somebody said that she thought she was going to retire after this because I will never sing again. But I think it's a very hypothetical kind of scenario. It's like, well, you don't got to worry about working. I don't got to worry about working. Let's just, given the ambiguity of this one, I think from a songwriting standpoint, this one had me a little bit more than maybe some of the other songs where, maybe especially like, talking about like the Blackest Day, where it's obviously like quite sad, but very matter of fact, where I think this one leaves maybe a little bit to interpretation, and just some more flowery language, right? Rushing up the water where the ice meets. Maybe not the deepest songwriting in the world, but maybe could leave like the general audience with a few different interpretations for things. So no, I thought that this one was actually pretty good. Yeah, I mean, there isn't too much to take away from this one beyond what's already, I mean, yeah. Okay, so we are about to end the album here, and I believe that we have a cover. So I was told that covers are pretty common through Lana Del Rey's music, and we're going to end with a cover here. I believe that it was either we ended with a cover in the last album or it was the penultimate song. But nonetheless, I believe this is a Nina Simone track. Please do let me know if I'm wrong. Don't let me be misunderstood. The second shortest track on the record.
But I'm just a soul whose intentions are good. Oh Lord, please don't let me be misunderstood. Life has its problems, and I get more than my share. But that's one thing I never mean to do, 'cause I love you. Oh, baby, I'm just human. Don't you know I have faults like anyone?
Simple, short, and to the point there with that one. I think that she's covered Nina Simone before. If I am not entirely wrong and stupid and foolish, you might already think so, but maybe not for that reason. Yeah, and you know, I think Lana definitely has an ear for that sound and that era of music, and she already, you know, relies so much on nostalgia and maybe callbacks to decades past, and so that's just another way that she kind of tips her hat to those that came before her. I actually think that Lana, maybe more than any other artist, really puts it out there on blast that she's standing on the shoulders of giants and that she's standing on ground that only existed because of those that came before her. In very subtle ways, in very subtle ways. And I think that actually subtlety kind of describes this album as a whole as I get into the conclusion here, because like I've said, Lana Del Rey, you know, it's all about the atmosphere. It's all a little bit slower. And at an hour and 5 minutes, at atmospheric, slower stuff, you need to grab me in. Did I love the songwriting on this as much as I did on Paradise? No, but there were glimmers of shit that I really liked. Was I into the instrumentation as much as I was Ultraviolence? No, but the production. I think this is the best Lana Del Rey album in terms of production. And production is going to be the name of the game for me here. Like I said, in some of these songs where they let her vocals peak, added to the grittier nature of things, but it's not gritty. It's all supposed to sound very kind of pretty and dreamy. So how do you get gritty into that? Well, use a microphone or use techniques that allow the vocals to be distorted a little bit, like naturally. You know, it's like we want some kind of like borderline destructive kinds of sounds in here. As the songs themselves progressed and the composition worked itself towards the end of the song, I felt like a lot of these songs were very back heavy. Very subtle things were happening there as far as letting the bass ride out, or, you know, we stopped hearing the Rogue saxophone through, I think, the second half of this album here. But it was just like little things like that I didn't find myself catching in other Lana albums, which I think really lended to me ultimately really jiving with this record quite a bit. Like I said, at an hour and 5 minutes, I think there could have been a few songs taken out. You know, like maybe take out the cover, maybe take out 24, and excuse me, because, you know, it's, you know, I just listened to a lot of songs here. I don't remember exactly what song, but I said, like, yeah, this just seems like any other, like, Lana song. Things like that would make the album maybe 15 minutes shorter, get us around that 50, 45-minute mark. Might be a little bit more edible for maybe the population. But by the end of it, I'm looking at it, and I really can't, like, I'm trying to, even though I say, okay, maybe take out the cover, maybe take out the James Bond song, they all fit the record pretty well, though. You know, it's not like they sound inherently so out of place where it's like, okay, we just needed this to be on the album. I think that is ultimately a great Lana Del Rey album because these were like the longest songs that we've gotten, you know, as a whole, as a collective, that we've gotten out of any Lana Del Rey album. And I've said to Lana's benefit that it's the atmospheric stuff that she allows us to breathe in these soundscapes. And Honeymoon, I think more so than any of the other albums, is like the soundscape album. Now, I think even though I was really jiving with, you know, the blues rock end of things on Ultraviolence, it's not, this is where the atmosphere works. It works with the orchestra. It works with incorporating very subtle pop elements, right? Like in Freak. Like in High by the Beach. High by the Beach is just an absolute bop as far as I'm concerned. Key tracks for me to take away: God Knows I Tried, High by the Beach, Salvatore, even throw Art Deco in there, right? Swan Song, I think had some pretty interesting songwriting elements in it, all things kind of considered, you know. And I'll be honest with you folks, I didn't say this at the top. I just want to get to Norman fucking Rockwell. That's like it can end there. It won't end there, but I would be happy if it just ended there. But we got to do this journey right, and we got to get to Norman Rockwell. And I was worried that in 1 hour and 5 minutes, I got Norman fucking Rockwell on the mind. Like, oh God, am I just gonna like trudge through this? Am I gonna be able to get that idea out of my head? And by the second song, that idea was completely out of my head, and I was in Honeymoon. And it's, along with the subtlety of the production elements that worked really well, it's the subtlety in how everything that we've seen is different. Subtle differences, but we still get Lana. We still get, I'm a bad bitch, but don't make me mad. I want you, you want me, but if you hurt me, I'm gonna write a song about it. Death is beautiful. You know, shit like that. Lana really puts blood, sweat, and tears on her lyricism, and that's what I like about her. Yeah, I don't find that she really pulls punches a lot, except for maybe the Blackest Day. Like I said, I felt like that was just like kind of like a very matter-of-fact song. Again, maybe that's me for expecting more out of a song called The Blackest Day from an otherwise, you know, very transparent and very seemingly talented songwriter with the longest song on the record. But I think you could, it still doesn't take away from Lana. I think if you love Lana, you just eat it up. That's what it's going to be. So like I said, I was worried that this one was going to feel like a chore for me, because I didn't really expect the blues rock thing to come back, and it didn't, and I'm glad it didn't. I'm glad we kind of went back to the more orchestral things, really made the best out of these longer run times for these songs. And if I was a Lana fan when this came out, I would have been probably very pleasantly satisfied. So that was my reaction to Honeymoon by Lana Del Rey. Again, if you like this video, hit the like button, subscribe for more of these reactions, and let me know your thoughts on my thoughts down in the comments below. If you ever want to catch us live, make sure you click one of the links down in the description. And if you ever want to catch any of these reaction live streams unedited before they come out, chopped up all on YouTube, make sure you go ahead and check out my Patreon. You can get exactly that for $1. And if you want to be on these credits, these credits right here, go ahead and check out some of the other tiers. Also, let me know what albums from what artists you want to see more of from me. But with that said, I've been Jerry Bees. You've been awesome. Take it easy.
Diggity dog. Breaking. Diggity dog.